This is 9 News with Wendy Kingston.
Good afternoon. Victoria has now recorded its first death in these devastating floods. Police today found the body of a missing boy in floodwaters near Shepparton. Our reporter Laura Turner joins us now. Laura, a very sad end to this search.
Certainly, Wendy. Police found the body of little 8-year-old Lachlan Collins after an extensive search through the Kyella area, which is south of Shepparton, over the past 24 hours. Now, little Lachlan had been swimming with his brother and sister at a billabong on the Goulburn River when he vanished. Now, fast-flowing floodwaters made it extremely difficult for police divers to conduct this search. They did make that grim discovery this morning.
Horsham, of course, we know enduring a 1 in 200-year flood right now. Give us the latest. How's the town holding up?
Well, Wendy, the peak passed here at 1 o'clock today, but as you can see behind me, residents are still getting around in boats, and Horsham is still certainly a city underwater. Hundreds of homes have been evacuated throughout the day and last night, and freight between Melbourne and Adelaide was brought to a standstill when the city was split in two when that river peaked this afternoon.
I pay tribute to those remarkable volunteers who have done so much, who continue to do so much to look after the people of Victoria right across the flood-affected areas. Where would we be without these volunteers?
Now, the water levels are expected to hold overnight, so it is a waiting game to see what these waters leave behind. There will be a massive clean-up effort, and the Mayor has told me he is expecting the cost of this flood to be far more than the Black Saturday bushfires which ripped through here 2 years ago. So they're staring down the barrel of a very expensive outcome, Wendy.
Indeed. OK, thank you very much for that update. Let's go to Kerrang now in Victoria's northwest, where the floodwaters have begun rising this afternoon. Now, a key power station is right now under threat. Our reporter Jacqueline Freegard is there. Jackie, this really is, I guess you'd say, the next hotspot in the state's flood crisis. What can you tell us?
Oh, absolutely, Wendy. It really is touch and go here in Kerrang, and if this power station goes under, it'll mean 20,000 homes will be without electricity for more than a week. And as you can see over here, the workers are really racing against the clock to get these levee banks shorn up. You can see that an excavator is there trying to prevent that water from coming. And to just give you an idea of how quickly the water in this area is rising, when we arrived here about an hour ago, the water was actually right up against the fence, against that levee bank there, you can probably see. But now it's almost all the way out onto the road, and it is still flowing quite quickly. So it really does show you just how much this power station is under threat. Now, Kerrang itself, though, there has been an evacuation order issued, but it is unlikely that many homes in this town will be affected. We spoke to the SES a short time ago. Let's take a listen.
We also have summer fire crews come up from Ballarat today to assist the Wokenville Township in their protection. They have had a lot less warning of this event because of the previous storm, so we are putting a lot more resources into the town to help them sandbag their town for this event tonight.
And Dimbulla and Warwick-Nabila are also under threat tonight, Wendy. There are evacuation orders also issued for them, but really the focus tonight is on Kerrang. This is a major city in rural Victoria, and they have asked the elderly and anyone really who's concerned to get out now, to not wait, because if they do decide to wait, they could be here for up to 3 days or even as long as a week. But all of the efforts tonight concentrated on Kerrang and this power station. We will keep you updated, but at this moment the levee banks are holding, but really that water is rising quite quickly, so it is a very serious situation.
It is. OK, thank you very much for that, Jackie. And a little earlier today, Prime Minister Julia Gillard announced the formation of a business task force to help Queensland get back on its feet after the floods there. Now, the group will seek corporate donations and use its expertise to help with rebuilding and recovery efforts. Here's some of what she had to say.
There's already been an opening of hearts and wallets from corporate Australia to help with Queensland flood recovery and rebuilding. But given the scale of this disaster, we need to do more. And so a key purpose of this business task force will be to further leverage support from corporate Australia.
And in Queensland, more than a week after that lethal wall of water hit the town of Grantham, grieving survivors have finally been allowed back into their homes, and Nine's Melissa Mallett is there.
Oh yeah, as difficult as today was for the people of Grantham, it really was the moment that they've been waiting so long for, to get back over across the rail bridge and to their homes, or what's left of them. And for many, it was very emotional. Take a listen to what a few of them had to say as they made their way down here to the police cordon.
We've got to face it sooner or later. We've got to go in there.
They're alive, mate, that's all we care about.
Yeah.
So we're relieved, really relieved. Just to have a look. We won't be able to stay there yet, but just to have a look.
Just hope there's something there for us to recover, you know.
And of course, those locals who will never make it home really were in the hearts of the locals here in Grantham today. Of course, there are still many people missing around here, and the search for them isn't over. It has been scaled back, but police and army officers have spent most of the day still searching, scouring every square inch of Grantham to bring closure to some of these families. But you know, down here there is a sense that Grantham really is moving forward. As tough as today is, they know that this is a very vital step in rebuilding this town.
Melissa Mallett there in Grantham. We were going to bring you a live update on the situation in Goodna, but lightning storms have moved in there as we've gone to air. So just to update you on the latest in the other areas of Queensland, Premier Anna Bligh has visited Toowoomba just over a week, of course, after the deadly flash flooding hit the city there. Ms Bligh says she owes it to the people who died in those floods to ask the hard questions and find out if anything went wrong. Meanwhile, health experts have warned of the risk of disease and psychological harm that will remain long after the nation's floodwaters recede. And in other news, about 10,000 homes and businesses in Brisbane will remain without power for several weeks.